self respect, self dignity कथा जो कहा जाइला जो स्वाभिमान रो कथा. My speech, which I hope has not been very boring. Now the journey forward. Kani High Court हेगला. तापर कौन? 74 years have passed. In 74 years रे, the taste of the pudding lies in its eating. जो कहा जाए. कौन कुछ है? Every Odia is entitled to ask that question. You see, let us just make a brief comparison. In 1948, when the court started, we had only, as I was just saying to that young girl on that television, that we had less than 2,000 cases, 1,900 cases to be exact. Today we have 2 lakh cases. The CD journey. Judges strength then was 4. Today it is 33. Of course, presently we have 21 judges. But the sanction strength is 33. And sanction strength, why has it increased? Because of the pendency of the cases. The judicial administration. Let us not go to 1936, but let us come to the post 47 period. We had 13 districts, 13 judgeships. Now we have 30 judgeships. Setabale kete judicial officers thele, unsubordinate judiciary. I'm sorry, I don't remember the exact figure, but today we have nearly 800 officers. 800 judicial officers of different cadres. We have 3 cadres: civil judge, senior civil judge, and district judge. There are 3 cadres. You may ask, what has this got to do with the High Court? You see, in a democratic setup, in a parliamentary democracy like India, one of the basic features of the constitution is independence of judiciary. Judiciary has to be independent of the executive. So, we are appointed by the executive. My appointment letter read, when I was a district judge, my appointment letter read by order of governor. But immediately, my services were placed with the High Court. The government has absolutely no control over me. Only the High Court has control over me as a district judge. That is provided under Article 227 of the Constitution. High Court has the authority. High Court has the power of superintendence over all other subordinate courts and tribunals in the state. All High Courts. Just state. So all judicial officers. Now imagine a situation where a judicial officer, if he is not independent, if judiciary is not independent, then the executive will. Let us not get into that. Anything can happen. It is today judiciary is a strong pillar only because of its independence. Nobody can influence us. Nobody. So you see, it has grown. Then the building. I was just referring to the old building in which the High Court was initially housed, which is now a heritage structure. But courts are functioning. Some of the judges are also have their chambers there. It was built in 1960, but gradually, the number of courts increased, number of cases increased, number of judges increased. So we needed a much bigger building. And in fact, it culminated in the new 8-story building that you see, state-of-the-art building, with all modern amenities. It came up in 2000. It was inaugurated in 2012, but the courts started functioning there from 2014. Now, what are the other changes? I was just briefly referring at the beginning of my speech about Ravi Namaskar. It's always a pleasure to see Ravi because he has designed this. The great artist that he is. Anyway, so I was referring to that hybrid mode, virtual mode of hearing. Now, what are the changes? Today we can boast of certain innovations with the aid of technology, like e-filing. A person sitting in a village, if he has access to internet, he can file a case sitting there. He can pay the court fees online, e-payment. Then, as I said, virtual mode of hearing, hybrid mode of hearing. Now we have gone another step ahead, paperless courts. No file is brought. There is a equipment called Wacom, In that backup, everything is there. Case record is scanned, we are doing it. Then live streaming. As is just मैंने हमें आरंभरू दीपक भाई कहले जे हमें विशेष जानी नहीं बर्तमान अपन YouTube रे सब दिन सीरियस को कोट लाइव स्ट्रीमिंग देखि परिबे आस्ते आस्ते सब कोट I we are bigger than cheap. So everything is transparent. So this is the change, and you will be surprised. We were all surprised. हमें तो लगे हमें हमारा annual report publish करो भाई को 5 वर्ष नहीं नहले बोलो डॉक्यूमेंट ला से डॉक्यूमेंट गत 5 वर्ष रो फिगर देखियो पेंडेंसी एंड डिस्पोजल. You are surprised we found that in corona period भितर हमर बेसी डिस्पोजल इज 5 वर्ष. It would happen only because of the virtual mode. जो घर थई करे. When I went to Bharatpur as district judge, I tried to convince all the lawyers आगे अपन काई कोना किछ ओपरे अपन करो. ये नाही आगे किछ लोक से वकील सेमाने कोन कले ना ताको कोर्ट रूम रे बसिबे कोर्ट रूम रे मोर सेटअप कहि दे मु मोर चैम्बर रे बसिबी परस्पर डिस्कशन करी केस डिस्पोज हो. किछ वयस्क वकील करे नाही आगे हमें वयस्क लोक हमें कर परिबुनी हमें कोर्ट को जाई परिबुनी आगे कोरोना रे जो बेला गापिलानी हम जाई परिबुनी तो अपन घर बसि करू ना मु लिंक दोछ. So that also we do. से घर बसि कर. खाली you have to be in proper attire and all that. Court रो जो ये जो formalities अछि ताको माने. So देखो you see the changes. So this is about the functioning of the High Court, keeping in line with the changes. High Court is not a closed institution. It is open by case. It has risen to the occasion whenever situation has demanded from it. I will sign off by referring to another aspect of the High Court or the judicial system. When I say the High Court, it is because the High Court is there, they found it. Now, when we talk of the High Court, as Deepak Bhai so eloquently put it at the beginning of his speech, that Nali Kota dekhai debi. See, Nali Kota kile mane kona? Mamala Kota, na Mamala Kota. जो केस को खाली केस पढ़ो मौजूदा करती. But is this institution only an institution meant for adjudication of disputes? No, sir, no. It is certainly it is its prime duty, and we are doing it day in and day out, hundreds of cases every day. But at the same time, it is also reaching out to people. While deciding cases, we are rendering justice. To whom? To the person who is before us, who has come to us. But even otherwise, we are going out. We are reaching out to the people. We are making. There's a slogan called "Access to Justice for All." An organization called the Legal Aid Organization, which is actually known as the State Legal Services Authority. Every district has a District Legal Services Authority headed by the district judge. Now, the State Legal Services Authority, the patron-in-chief is the Chief Justice, and the Executive Chairman is the senior most judge. What they do? They reach out to people. I was privileged or fortunate enough to be the member secretary of the State Legal Services Authority for 3.5 years. What we could not have done while sitting in the court, that we could do coming outside. Because court got formality. It is formality. खबर कागज सकाळ चहा पिला पढिली जे गोटे लोकटी भितर के रास्ता कटरे पडुची ता देव सारा विभिन्न प्रकार क्षत मुख्य देइछ त केही पछर मा साइंस एंड सेट टू पारा लीगल वर्क ते पिक्टिम अप एडमिटेड टू द हॉस्पिटल मागना ट्रीटमेंट लेखली गवर्नमेंट को मागना ट्रीटमेंट दियो मागना ट्रीटमेंट हला से होले एमिति हजार केसेस एंड दे आर डॉक्यूमेंटेड they are all documented. So it is not as if the citizen reaches out to us, we also reach out to the citizen. And well, I will not get into details of cases, but all of you know, High Court has also taken a proactive and leading role when it comes to protecting the interests of the society at large. Like High Court is monitoring the reservation work of the Jagannath temple, of the Chilika lake, because to maintain the ecology of the Chilika lake. Reserve Karika. Olive Ridley turtles. I, as a lawyer, when I was a lawyer, I and my friend had filed a PI. Certain directions were issued. Then we have High Court appoints advocates committee to look into to monitor the functioning of the SCB Medical College, Very recently, the High Court has also constituted a committee to look into the complaints that in rural areas, the primary health centers, the community health centers, the doctors are not turning up. They are not attending. डाक्टर को घर को अपन जो पूरा रिक्वेस्ट करे पूरा बोतल पूरा पूरा हम छुआ जरा होई कि देखो जे करू to prevent that the High Court has appointed to go and see. So then rights of prisoners, again we unfortunately we need the police but we never need a police state. जाग वाला पुलिस उठेगा नहीं भर्ती कर दो जेल. That is why every district judge is mandatorily required to visit the jail within his jurisdiction once every month. I used to do it. As a district judge, I used to do it. You go inside the jail, it's a separate world. You will realize what is happening there. What happened in the case, a person was acquitted, but nobody informed him. There was no communication. He stayed in jail for 8 long years, even after he was acquitted. Absolute illegal detention. I go to the matter, said you grant him compensation. I don't know, maybe 20 lakhs or something. So, thousands of such cases. The High Court has been taking up this role, along with it, with both on the adjudicatory side as well as on the non-adjudicatory side. So, my dear friends, this is all about the journey of the High Court. Now you see, Vikas Babu was referring to, he was lamenting rather at the erosion of values of Cuttackiyas, rather in Cuttack. He was actually what he was referring to, probably, I will probably crystallize what you thought. He was referring to the lack of sort of an inertia that we find in the youth of today. जो कटकिया वाली कही कि से बैंगलोर जो भले पूरे ईयर प्रयास ले पूरे जोश रस ले से जोश का टिके पिला हमको पकड़े देखो को जैसे पाऊँ जब देखिए से कनाडा रोड में जीती को मोबाइल से को नोट बता दो फट इनको लिख दी बिल्कुल उतर चेष्टा करिए जे हमारे सब मोबाइल है गया so yeah but you are doing a wonderful job sir. Absolute wonderful job. Opportunity opportunity बताता कुछ आज वो इतना बड़ा institution इस तरह बताता है. I am proud to be a part of that institution. And I think it will be my humble homage to the Almighty and to the institution if I can stick to my job. If I do my job properly enough, that's all. So I mean that is what we learn from the great institutions of the High Court. People may think that everything is not all right. But then, what is in this world? The world entirely is an imperfect world. I mean, जो example then, जो example कही it can be multiplied. Good entire session तक हम नहीं जीव. And as I told you, it is all documented. Goals कथा मोर को जाओ. All documented. You know, এই जो 64 ବର୍ଷର ଜର୍ନି ଏବଂ କଟକର 1033 years, I don't know whether I calculated correctly, 989 well was 1033 years old. So 1033 ବର୍ଷର ଇତିହାସ ଭିତରେ କଟକ, the great city that it is, call it city, call it town, call it just ଗୋଟେ ବନ୍ଧୁ ମିଳନର ସ୍ଥାନ, it houses one of the most important institutions of this state. And it is not for nothing that all other the other two important organs of governance are in Bhubaneswar, but High Court continues to be. এটা হলে কটকর ঐতিহ্যর প্রতীক, ওড়িয়াঙ্কর স্বাভিমানর প্রতীক এবং and from the High Court one can say it guards the constitutional rights of its citizens like a faithful sentinel, watchful sentinel. It watches over the day in and day out. Cases come to us alleging infringement of rights. We adjudicate, try to adjudicate within the four corners of law, try to give them, to restore the rights of the people. So, why me? All Cuttackiyas should be proud of this institution. Finally, I will again thank you for inviting me. for this fantastic evening, magnificent evening, and in the august company of such intellectual audience. I will, while wishing you all the best, I will request you, please continue with your this wonderful work that you have taken up of preserving, of more than preserving or more than talking about the heritage yourself, of spreading the message, particularly among the youth who are to take over the reins from us today. Aji ame dhorche kani se mana tako pai darkar. Let them feel proud that yes, I am a proud Odia, I am a proud Katiya. Only for us. Thank you. Namaskar. Jai Jagannath.
I feel extremely happy that we invited Justice Mishra to spend some time with us, because as you know, he is a storyteller. He is an outstanding storyteller. He writes stories and he writes novels and everything, so he knows how to narrate a thing. And you know, he made the quote unquote dull and drab history of judiciary so lively for us. We stand definitely enlightened and enriched by his words today. So we are extremely thankful to Justice Mishra for being with us. If you have any questions, you can right now ask Justice Mishra, and I will request him to respond. Any questions? No. This is the sign of a very good enriching class. You know, after the class is over,
no, it is
there
both
is
ways.
no question.
It is both ways. It is both ways. Either they have understood everything or they have understood nothing.
I don't want to undermine. I don't want to.
Mr. Ratho. Asul. Haridas.
I have a very simple question. I'm saying a proud ODI and Eddie from India. See, he was talking about Odisha that we are seeing today. But when you are referring to the Odisha under Bengal or under Bihar, you got to admit that Ganjam, erstwhile Ganjam district, Koraput district, Kandamar, was not part of this state, was part of the Madras district. Similarly, Karandi, Balangir, Sambapur, Sundargarh was part of the central province. So the current Odisha then was only Puri, Cuttack, Dhenkanal, Balasore and Keonjhar and Noida. That was termed as Odisha. These were all taken out. Reason being that today we are not united and we have forgotten the Oriya pride only because of division. The state was divided into 3 parts. That is what I want to, sir, to clarify that today the Odisha, and we have lost territory to Chhattisgarh, Bihar and Andhra Pradesh, including Bengal. We talk about Odisha. Midnapur is gone, Patnaik is gone. Parts of the Srikakulam is gone, it is Tripura. That is gone. Now they are including into Koraput. Similarly, Chhattisgarh area we have also lost. Paraigada, Kaswa we have lost. Still we Odia says we are proud. We should fight and retain what we have, not allow other states to take over. Thank you.
Thank you. That is a very interesting observation which can be added to this evening's discussion. I don't think there are any more questions. Yeah, perfect. Please come.
Hello. Remember justice for justice day. What a technique. It is a power invested with the police and further judicial.
Okay. I don't think Justice Mishra.
Like, I don't know the story, but Daroga Sattavade, Daroga was at the head of the beginning of the criminal administration. You just call it na. Village Chowkidar, what kon hala mane ago village Chowkidar jodi samahan kor dala ta bor dala. Nole se jibo Daroga ne. Daroga mane thana ba. Daroga jodi nokar pala tale it will go to the magistrate. Magistrate jodi noi pala session judge. Sessions mane district judge. District judge केवल पाजे, अपने देखते district and session judge पाजे. District माने civil side वाले district. Session से criminal. So दारोगा काम मनोरे हुए तो थाई पारे गाँव में because police is the most visible symbol of power. So according to him, I think दारोगा तो अधिक किसी इफेक्ट नहीं. So in fact, I'll tell you a small anecdote. I was in village when I decided to study law. One gentleman, he was actually a friend of my father, but he's a rural man. They person पढ़ना थी. I तमने law पढ़ लिया, तुमको खबर पढ़ी, आप पढ़ लिया, I तमने जिन्हें magister हुई जो. There is nothing called magister, but what he meant has actually happened. In my case, he didn't understand. He is no longer there. Long since passed away. I तमरो जो बुद्धि तम magister हुई. No. Is that magister आपको कोड खोजने पाएंगे कोड पाएंगे. But he meant that तमने जिन्हें कोटे bench को ऐसे. So.
Yes.
So we are of course grateful to Justice Mishra, and I must thank the Ratho family for allowing us to host the event here. In fact, they hosted. So Sanu is not around, otherwise I would have liked to introduce him to Justice Mishra. So Sanu and his team with my city links, they are doing practically everything. We come and conduct the event here and meet the press. So they have facilitated Cuttack Khati like nothing. They are doing everything. So I am grateful to them. And of course, I am grateful to each one of you because without an audience, nothing is possible, especially in this hybrid mode which I have chosen. Previously, we used to go live, then because of the pandemic situation, we went for virtual interactions. Then now we are back with this hybrid event. So all of you deserve our gratitude because as the Hindi song says, "Agar aap na hote." So we are really grateful to you. And just I would like to add one thing for Justice Mishra, that Cuttack was primary. Not only primary, it is the number one, and I think that's the only agenda point that we have with us. It is to create awareness amongst the youth. But because of the intervention, or you can call it disturbance of the pandemic, we have not managed to do it. We want to mobilize school and college students and get them interested in heritage history and culture. What we call they should develop heritage love. Only that is the way forward, because as you rightly pointed out, sir, we have to pass on the baton. Now it is our time, and this is the time when we should pass on the baton decently to the next generation. So they should come forward and carry the baton forward. So that's it, I think, for this evening. And again, I am grateful to each one of you for making this evening so lively. And my best wishes for Pana Sankranti, the Odia New Year, which is on 14th. Today is 10th. And I think we'll be meeting in the next year when we meet, either for the walk or for Khati next month. So the best wishes for a happy Odia New Year. Happy and happy. That's all. Thank you.
You can end the broadcast.
Set dustbin, set it.